Brandon, we good? Should be good. John?
Yes.
Good evening, everybody. Call this meeting to order. The first item on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everybody. I'd like to welcome you to the Carroll Township Board of Supervisors meeting for July 13th, 2026. The next item on the agenda is the fire reports. I see we have two tonight. Chief, is there anybody representing the fire company? We have one for the regular fire report, and then we also have a Monaghan Township volunteer fire report. Anybody here to address those? Is the chief on? No. No. Okay. Did anybody have any questions about the fire reports? I don't. Good. No, I don't have any questions, Mr. Chairman. Seeing none, we'll move to the next item on the agenda is public comment. Just a reminder, if you do have any public comment that is not related to anything on the agenda this evening, please come up to the podium, state your name and address for the record. We do have a 5-minute time limit for public comment. Is there any public comment this evening?
I do have a hand raised on Zoom.
Is that Margie?
Yeah, let me see here.
Hi, can you hear me?
We do.
Yeah. Okay, this is Margie Borkenhagen, 302 Normandy Lane, Dillsburg. So I just had kind of a statement to make. It does kind of apply to two things, but they're separate things in the agenda and as well as on its own as well. So I just thought put it in public comment. I have been deeply distressed watching the recent highly visible destruction of forests and mature trees throughout our township. A few weeks ago, it was the extensive clearing along Carroll Drive as work began on a new subdivision. Now the same heartbreaking scene is unfolding at the Stony Run Village site, where enormous piles of trees and brush line the property. Driving past both locations has been truly upsetting. What troubles me most is not just the loss of the trees themselves, but the devastation to the wildlife that depends on them. Every tree removed may have been home to nesting birds, squirrels, owls, and countless other creatures. Nests are destroyed without any apparent regard for eggs, hatchlings, and adult birds. Just last week, a frightened fawn was seen wandering neighborhood streets, which may have been displaced after losing its habitat. We can only wonder what may have happened to its mother or the other wildlife forced from their homes. This also raises questions about how this level of clearing is permitted during the peak nesting season. The Federal Migratory Bird Treaty Act protects many native bird species and their active nests. As individual homeowners, we are prohibited from disturbing active nests, yet large-scale land clearing appears to continue during nesting season with little public explanation of how these protections are being addressed. If there are legal exceptions or required wildlife surveys, the public deserves to understand what safeguards are in place. At some point, we have to ask ourselves, when does this end? Every new development means fewer mature trees, less wildlife habitat, and fewer natural spaces. Once these forests are gone, they cannot simply be replaced by planting a handful of young saplings. What makes this even more frustrating is the apparent inconsistency in how the township applies its tree policies. Developers are granted waivers, allowing them to remove significant number of mature trees without replacing everything that is lost. Meanwhile, one individual homeowner has faced repeated resistance when seeking permission to remove street trees that threaten her property. Trees that arguably should never have been planted in those locations to begin with. Even more puzzling, she has been expected to replace them with 7 large shade trees on a quarter-acre corner lot. That requirement seems excessive, particularly when comparable properties have far fewer street trees. On our similarly sized lot, we only have 2. Claims of uniformity simply do not reflect reality. The spacing and placement of street trees throughout the neighborhood have never been consistent, and another entrance to the community had all of its street trees already removed months ago. While this homeowner has not replanted the exact number or species originally required, she has made a sincere effort to landscape her property with numerous other trees and plantings that enhance its appearance and environmental value. If street trees are no longer universally required, what are today's standards for new subdivisions? Are developers being required to plant 7 shade trees on every quarter-acre corner lot? I doubt they are. If not, why is a single homeowner being held to a far stricter standard than large-scale developments that develop or that remove hundreds of mature trees at once? Protecting our environment should mean protecting it consistently. Mature trees provide benefits that newly planted saplings cannot replace for decades. If we are serious about preserving our community's natural beauty and wildlife, then our policy should reflect that commitment equally for developers and homeowners alike. Right now, that does not appear to be the case, and that is something worth asking our township leaders to explain. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other public comment this evening? Seeing none, Chief, I believe the floor is yours.
Thank you. For the month of June, for all 4 municipalities that our police department covers, we handled 965 calls, bringing that yearly total of 4,597. Investigated 31 motor vehicle accidents, bringing that total to 170. And they issued 118 traffic citations, bringing that total to 684.
Any questions or concerns about the police report for June 2026? Seeing none.
The next item on the list is to officially hire our new police officer.
I move to hire Valen Kelly as new probationary Carroll Township police officer effective July 27, 2026.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second, any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor of a motion to hire Fallon Kelly as the new probationary Carroll Township police officer effective July 27th, 2026, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion is approved. Welcome aboard.
And then the next item, sir, is the resolution.
I move to adopt resolution number 2026-20, a resolution of the Board of Supervisors of Carroll Township, York County, Pennsylvania, approving and adopting an offer of employment and training agreement between the candidate, Fallon Kelly, and the Carroll Township Police Department. I have a motion. Do I have a second? Motion in multiple seconds. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor of a motion to adopt resolution number 2026-20 signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The motion is approved. Congratulations.
Standing in front of you is Ms. Fallon Kelly. She passed everything with flying colors through our background check. Went very smoothly. She is a recent graduate from the police academy, and I said she was ready to start in a few weeks.
Great.
Congratulations.
Here's a little back in honor of her. She will be our second female police officer. We had one, she left, she took a job at the Attorney General's office years ago. So she's now our newest female officer.
Safe out there. Yeah. Chief, anything else?
That's all I have.
Great, thank you. Next is the open bill list.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I do have a couple questions. I know, unfortunately, our Secretary, Faye, could not be here this evening, so I'm not sure if you could answer a couple of questions I had. We have a cloud pay subscription for $1,500. What is that?
Is that through,
I think that's,
I didn't see it as being reoccurring, so I didn't know if it was,
it should be a recurring, oh, if it's quarterly, the cloud-based,
The all traffic solution,
Yeah.
1,500.
yeah,
Yeah, that is for the full mount that license plate. You can buy one.
okay,
I'm sorry, the full mount speed sign. The full mount speed sign.
okay, all right, got it.
That's
The other one, Chief, I saw that we purchased 22 caliber ammunition.
for for putting down dirt mainly to not animals.
Oh,
You
okay.
can't always get close. Sometimes they'll, and that's what you need to see, they'll have a broken leg and they're trying to get away, they're fighting for life.
Got it, just want to make sure you're not downsizing from 9
Yeah,
millimeter.
using a 223 is a little bit loud, especially in the evening.
Yeah.
Just microphone.
Okay, yeah,
Microphone, please. Is the microphone working for the chief, please?
It's all.
it's on, yeah.
Yeah, it's on.
We're not hearing in the back.
So they said the 22 caliber was for taking down any animal that needs to be humanely taken. Yeah. And Brandon, I'm assuming the library and the senior center donations there are an annual donation?
Correct.
Okay. And then what is the Compan Inc. for Carroll Field for 21 grand?
Playground.
That's the playground, okay, I don't want to assume, okay.
That's the second half of the playground.
Follow question I had?
Any other questions on the open bill list?
Mr. Chairman, I'll move to approve the open bill list dated July 8th, 2026, as submitted in the amount of $394,041.68.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Is there any discussion, further discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor of a motion to approve the open bill list dated July 8th, 2026, as submitted in the amount of $394,041.68, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion is approved. Next is the approval of minutes. The first is the June 1st work session minutes.
I move to approve the June 1st, 2026 Board of Supervisors work session minutes as submitted.
I have a motion, do I have a second? Second. Motion and a second. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor of a motion to approve the June 1st, 2026 Board of Supervisors work session minutes as submitted, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion is approved. Next is the June 8th Board of Supervisors meeting.
I move to approve the June 8th, 2026 Board of Supervisor meeting minutes as submitted.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor of a motion to approve the June 8th, 2026 Board of Supervisors meeting minutes as submitted, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion is approved. Next is the subdivision report. First is Tide BOS Homes. I got it right this evening.
Yes, thank you. So the purpose for this final subdivision plan is to subdivide the property at 509 South Baltimore Street, located along eastern side of the South Baltimore Street. So the purpose is to subdivide it into 2 lots. The submission includes a request to grant 3 waiver identified in the June 2nd, 2026 comments letter. The first waiver is the preliminary plan request. The second one is the requirements to provide information within 200 feet of the property. The third waiver is the requirements to provide an erosion and sedimentation control plan. For these 3 waiver, we don't have any objection at this time. Other than the 3 waiver, there is a list of outstanding comments, including updating the HOP permit information, some legal descriptions for the dimension for easement, correcting clear size triangle label, and a couple other things indicated in my letter on June 2nd. On the last planning commission meeting, the plan received conditional approval by the commissioner.
Okay, looks like there are 2 actions for the board on this plan this evening. The first is to potentially grant waiver requests, and the second is to potentially approve the final subdivision plan contingent upon addressing comments in the engineer's letter dated July 2nd. I move to grant waivers 1 through 3 of section 2 of Manu Lou's comment letter dated July 2nd for the final subdivision plan for Tide BOS Homes LLC. I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor of a motion to grant the waiver request for waivers 1 through 3 in the final subdivision plan as per Manu Lou's comment letter dated July 2nd, 2026, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion is approved. Next is a motion to conditionally approve the subdivision plan. Let's see.
Mr. Chairman, I will move to conditionally approve the final subdivision plan for Tide BOS Homes LLC contingent upon answering all of the following comments in Manny Lou's comment letter dated July 2nd, 2026. It would be for, there's comment and corrective items for zoning, there is none. Comment or corrective items for subdivision and land development plan, and there are 4 points in that letter. Administrative comments, there are 6 points to be addressed. York County Planning Commission comments, there are 3 points to be addressed in comments. And maintenance agreement comments, there would be 2 points as listed in the letter.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Is there any further discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor of a motion to conditionally approve the final subdivision plan for Tide Boys Homes LLC contingent upon addressing all the comments in sections 4 through 7 in Manny Lou's comment letter dated July 2nd, 2026, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion is approved. Next, Manny, is the Celebration Community Church.
I'll defer to Brandon for this one.
Yeah, so we have not had any resubmittals. The applicant's still working through the plan issues from the first planning commission meeting. We did provide time extension until January 11th, 2027.
Mr. Chairman, I'll move to table and accept the time extension for the review of the preliminary and final subdivision and land development plan for Celebration Community Church until January 11th, 2027.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor of a motion to table and accept the time extension for the review of the preliminary and final subdivision land development plan for Celebration Community Church until January 2nd, or January 11th, 2027, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion is approved. Next is the Orbank Road surety release.
Yes, so for this project, each company actually submit a request on June 26th. They're requesting the bond amount to be reduced by $408,000, 591. That amount actually is for water and sewage improvement, which is now secure under the bond held by Dillsburg Area Authority. The retainage is at 76% right now, with the retainer in $1,283,391.06.
I move to, based on observed work completed, release $408,591 from the financial surety being held for the Orbank Road improvements for Inch Properties mixed-use development at 15 Orbank Road. This will be surety release number 1 and will reduce the Great Midwest Insurance Company bond number GM258196 for this project from $1,691,982.60 to $1,283,391.60. I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion is second. Is there any discussion on the motion?
Did you say, based on observed work completed?
Yes.
I'd like to amend the motion and replace the words observed work completed with the words work secured by bonds held by Dillsburg Area Authority.
John, is it okay with that?
That's correct, because the work's not completed. It's just bonded for.
Got it, okay. Then I move to, based on work, bonded by the Dillsburg Area Authority?
Work secured by bonds held by Dillsburg Area Authority.
Okay, we'll go with what you said. I have a motion, amended motion. Did I get a second on that? I did, right? Okay. Any further discussion on the amended motion? Seeing none, all those in favor of a motion to, based on work secured by bonds held by the Dillsburg Area Authority, release $408,591,000 from the financial surety being held for the Orbank improvements for Inch Properties mixed-use development at 15 Orbank Road. Signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, the motion is approved. That's a rough one. Next is the York Hess Solar Farm.
Brandon, I defer to you.
Yeah, so there's a lot of back and forth. This is an amended and restated developers agreement with regards to decommissioning. So it's the current developers agreement, the decommissioning part was added, the exhibits are there, it was reviewed by the township solicitor, found to be okay. So we would be good to go with that.
I move to enter into the amended and restated developer financial security agreement with the solar decommissioning provision for the final land development plan for Yorkcast Solar Farm and authorize Brent Selhammer, chairman of the board, to sign the agreement. The financial security was set at the January 12, 2026 board of supervisors meeting in the amount of $366,118.13.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second, is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor of a motion to enter into the amended and restated developer financial security agreement with solar decommissioning provision for the final land development plan for Yorkcast Solar Farm and authorize Brent Selhammer, chairman of the board, to sign the agreement, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The motion is approved. On to unfinished business. The first item is Sandra Eimer, 300 Normandy Lane. This is a waiver request on the street tree removal policy. We had extensive discussion about this last week at our workshop, and I'm not aware of any, sorry, Sandra, did you want to come up to address this?
I just got a reply from the gas company, and I think you all got an email from the gas company too. I don't know if you received it, but it is not the best practice. And they do give you the scenarios of what happens when you place a large tree on top of a gas line and the dangers of it. And they did say, I did write an email saying, could you please verify if it's, it was stated at a township meeting that there's no concern. And they did say they do not agree with that. That's Columbia Gas. He did say he would come out for a meeting if you would like, and you could ask him all different questions about the safety of providing that. And I can get him out here. He said he would come to any meeting that you would request.
I'm sorry. I do want to read just part of that because I was provided, and it's not word for word what he said, so I just want to be very clear, and this was sent to all of us, so this is part of the public record. With that said, and this is, William Shoup, who is a damage prevention specialist from Columbia Gas of PA. With that said, general statement, in a large footprint of our Columbia Gas area, we have trees and bushes that are planted by hand over top of our gas facilities. So there's nothing about a best practice in here. He's just saying, and there's another section where he says, I'm sorry, just lost it. I highlighted what is not allowed, which includes any use of powered equipment inside of tolerance zone to install trees and or remove trees. So his best practice, I think what you're referring to, his best practice is specifically focused on the use of power tools to install or remove trees and shrubs.
I just spoke with the gentleman today, and he said large trees on top of a gas line, they cannot guarantee that they're not going to do any damage because the roots do spread and they get aggressive. And at that point, there can be, damage to the lines. There could also be a tree pulled out and pulls the gas lines out. He gave you a bunch of scenarios. That's what he gave you. He said the best practice is not to put large trees over a gas line, maybe grass or ferns or anything like that. That would be I'm worried about the safety of the whole issue, and the trees are going to get, the three trees that I have are banned because they spread, they're aggressive trees. And the one is getting very big, and it's just like, it concerns me that, I can't remove them. I don't have the square footage to replace 7 trees on my property. I just don't have the area. All the trees are on too close to a sidewalk that would be at my cost to repair. And I think that's just difficult. I'm trying to do the best scenario to maintain that sidewalk. And I'm being set up that, those trees are going to grow and they're going to get aggressive. And then the other safety issue is that there is a big maple tree. The trunk is equal to the stop sign. So you would have to cut the tree in half to maintain that stop sign. It's getting very big and you can't see the stop sign. So what's the best practice? Does it look great? I mean, we're all into that the properties would look nice. And the problem being is half a tree doesn't look very nice and it's not, and otherwise it's going to be unsafe. So if someone wins that stop sign, I think there's a safety issue there.
Dave, did you have something?
Yeah, with the tree problem that she has, there's one of the, pear trees that are illegal to have now. Yeah, and,
Illegal to have.
yeah. But anyhow, there's another tree in front of the speed limit sign and another tree in front of the stop sign. And then you also have the ones on the gas line. And, what she was looking for, the best way out of the thing is to, take out the 7 trees and plant 2, because she has space for that. And, if that would work, but the main thing is the 2 in front of the signs and the one that's the pear tree. And,
3 that are pear trees.
yeah, and if it could get the ones off the gas line. The speed limit sign one is on the gas line. So that one would sort of count for that if she can take all the gas line ones out. She's open in a way to some sort of agreement, but it would be best to get them off the gas line. And let her put 2 trees in, that's all she can put. She's got other trees on the property besides. How many are there?
There are 8. There are 8, but they're smaller trees. And Brandon, I would put a 6-foot tree on, from now on. I would put 2 6-foot trees on. If I could get it, the problem being is the property is full of rock and you have to drill them in. So I don't know how well we're gonna get them in, but I would try.
There's utility problems too.
And then, there's a gas line that goes, the gas line goes in the front, and then there's a water line. So I just have 2 areas that I can put them in without going over the utilities again.
Appreciate that. Sorry, did you have more discussion? Oh, okay. Again, we had a very lengthy discussion last week about this. I don't believe anything's changed since last week.
Can I have the representative from the gas company come in and tell me what he thought about the tree?
I've seen plenty of correspondence. I appreciate your position, Mrs. Eimer, and everybody's free to vote the way they vote, but,
One other thing, Brent.
Yes.
I not to interrupt you, but, the one thing with this is I've been to the property lots of times, and there's no easy solution to this thing. And the easy solution is if we let her do the 2 trees, and I think everything will be great. And, that would be the end of it, because it won't, jeopardize any of the sidewalks. Because she has a corner property, that's a lot of exposed sidewalks. That's the other part, and then there's no place to plant anymore, because of the swales. And, the utility lines coming in and the whole works, it's a mess. Plus everything's rock. If you do dig a hole, you might not be able to go too far. So, and she hasn't tested these holes yet, make sure that they will go. But I'd recommend letting her do that, in my opinion, get this over. Because it causes her a lot of grief and us grief too. And it is possible for anybody in any of the developments, if I'm correct, is that right, Brandon? That they can have those trees removed by getting a permit. And
If they abide by the regulations to replace them.
So they can put them on their own property and get them away from the sidewalks. So, I'd recommend letting her do it. Hers is sort of a goofed up situation, and I think possibly some of the other homes are in the same boat, where you can't plant all of them. But with her having an L, that's, the corner, you got 7 trees. So.
I move to grant Sandra Eimer's waiver request to remove 7 trees along the street and plant 2 trees, but I want to add or change, authorized by the Board of Supervisors, the species of trees to replace that were removed.
I think we have a list of approved trees, right? So now you're asking.
I think she was approved. What's the tree that
The
you?
Stephen Holly, which is the only reason that I'm using that It's because from the foundation of the house to the sidewalk, I need a roof that is 10 feet.
Is that on the approved tree list?
It is not, but we could add, trees to that. It's not as all-inclusive list.
Okay. So your motion is to grant sorry.
I was just going to add, because I didn't know exactly which ones. I know that there was a lot of discussion last
It's
week.
a 25
I wanted to
foot.
see, if we needed to add the authorized by board of supervisors, the species that was indicated. That was my.
Since it's not on the list, it should be, I guess, listed in the motion.
In the
So
motion.
what was it again?
It's a Stephen Holly, or they're looking at a red dragon. They're 20-foot trees. They're 20 to 25.
What's the first word? Stevens?
It's Nellie Stevenson. Stephen. I think I have it listed on the class. I'm sorry, I don't know how to spell it. And then there's another one. There's a lady dragon holly that is a really pretty tree. It's 20
Which
feet.
one? I mean, because we're going to vote on this motion now. So which one?
Okay, then I know that the Nellie Stevens is okay in Pennsylvania. I'm not sure the other one.
Holly, and that's a holly, right?
It's a holly tree.
Alright. So I move to grant Sandra Eimer's waiver request to remove 7 trees along the street and plant 2 Nellie Stevens hollies to replace the trees that were removed.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor of a motion to grant Sandra Eimer's waiver request to remove 7 trees along the street and plant 2 Nellie Stevens holly trees to replace the trees that were removed, signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Aye. Motion is approved 3-2.
Thank you.
Next is Berkshire Hills Park.
So I sent the board a memorandum after I had a chance to review the bylaws of the Berkshire Hills Civic Association that I found on their website and how the proposed ballot count or ballot tally complies or doesn't comply with the bylaws. And you saw in my memorandum that I'm of the opinion at this point that the ballot count does not, the ballot count and how the ballots were obtained does not comply with the bylaws. So that falls in line with the discussion of whether or not the association is legally able, at this point, to convey the park and lot 39 to the township, and in my opinion, at this point, is not, they are not.
Mr. Chairman, based on the timing of that information that we got, I move to table the decision on assuming Berkshire Hills Park to the August 2026 Board of Supervisors meeting.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion?
Yes.
Lawrence Cutright, 17 Sheffield Drive. We seek legal counsel before deciding to make a vote the way that we had. If you need something in writing from our counsel, I can provide that for you. It was that he recommended that we do it that way, to be the most inclusive way to get everyone that's a member to vote. The way we do things is we have a meeting, and typically it's 5 people that are board members that show up. We have a picnic, and after the picnic once a year, there tends to be maybe 5 other people, about 3 other families that stay for that meeting. That's the largest meeting that we have all year long. And it has to be at a meeting that we have a vote. So I asked the lawyer, how can I make it so that everyone is included? And should we have it open for everyone, even if you're not a member? His advice to me was no, you have to be a dues-paying member to vote. That's in your bylaws. And because we went above and beyond what was written in our bylaws to actually make sure that everyone had a ballot in hand, we mailed them out and sent out return envelopes that had stamps on them. And everyone that did not return a ballot, I spoke to them personally and asked them if they wanted to vote or didn't want to vote. So I understand it does not conform with what is written in our bylaws as how we would take a vote, but it was what was recommended by a lawyer to us to do. So you tell me what to do to move forward with this, and I'll provide that for you.
Larry, I'd say if the motion to table were successful tonight, that'd probably be your best course, is to get your attorney in touch with the township solicitor and just work that out, and we can talk about it at the workshop next month, if that's okay.
Very good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you. Any further discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor of a motion to table the Berkshire Hills Park issue until August 10th, 2026, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion is approved. Next is the Barry Eisen Associates Engineering Contract. I know we had some discussion last week about indemnity and some other provisions in the contract.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I move to table approving the agreement until the August 2026 Board of Supervisors meeting. I didn't get a chance to have a conversation with them.
Okay. Motion, do I have a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. Is there any further discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor of a motion to a motion to table the Barry Eisen Associates Engineering Contract decision until August 10th, 2026, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The motion is approved. Thank you. Next is the Stony Run Village subdivision decision appeal. Yes, we did. Mr. Solicitor, I believe there was a decision on this. We did meet about this. I apologize for the late notice. We did meet about this in executive session prior to this meeting.
There was no decision made, there was discussions. We held an executive session for purposes of discussing.
Oh, I'm sorry, I meant the decision was by the court, was not by us. Sorry, let me be very clear about that.
There was a decision this month by the court, but there was no decision made by our board.
Correct. In light of the decision by the Court of Common Pleas of York County, not by the board, I move to authorize the township solicitor to file an appeal on behalf of the township. I have a motion, by the second.
I'll second.
Motion almost every second. Is there any discussion?
Excuse me, I have to recuse myself from this vote.
Okay, thank you. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Oh, sorry. Mr. Clark, yes.
I encourage you to vote yes to file the appeal with the new solicitor.
And
Check
the microphone, because we were having trouble with some of the microphones.
Is it green?
Looks green.
Okay, that's on.
Nope, that was bright.
There you go.
Bright green, okay.
And I just want to be very clear about this, just because of the procedure, Mr. Clark. We currently have Mr. Baranski as our township solicitor. We do not have a new solicitor.
I understand.
Okay, you just said with the new solicitor. I just want to be very clear about that.
Well, you should have a different lawyer handle the appeal.
I appreciate the legal advice, sir.
The reason I stand is I think the board, assuming you read the opinion, and the public needs to know that the residents of Hartman Lane are not happy about what happened here. The court finds that the board acted in bad faith. The board acted in bad faith and denied the latest revised plan and waived any argument to the contrary by choosing not to address this issue in its brief. In conclusion, the board did not attempt to defend the first or third denial reasons in its brief, presenting the court with no argument, citations, or case law on these reasons. Accordingly, the court treats them not only as inadequate grounds for denial, but waived. Second reason for denial, page 8, BLG, the developer. They argued that secondary emergency access to Hartman Lane is not necessary. Correctly noting December 9 of 2024, the board granted a waiver request, allowing there to be sole means of access to the property from Pheasant Ridge Road. BLG notes that secondary emergency access is not a requirement of the ordinance. Thus, BLG argues that the board cannot deny the plan based on an alleged lack of access to the time legally required. So before Hartman Lane decides to secede from the Carroll Township, we request that in fact there be no emergency access. If in fact it's not required, as they argued, then whatever needs to be done to amend their approval, no emergency access to Hartman Lane, and the issue is gone. Otherwise, they have access to Hartman Lane. We believe they should not have access. We believe the court got the law wrong. We don't want to spend our time and money on this appeal. We think the township needs to take the lead. I was there. We filed our brief. We briefed all the issues. My client spent a lot of money on this case. We spent a lot of time coming to meeting after meeting after meeting after meeting. There appears to have been a meeting between the prior solicitor and the developer we never knew about. Somehow it shows up in the record in the case. It shows up in the judge's opinion as a basis for the bad faith. We didn't know about that meeting. Enough of these private meetings with the public not being involved. If you're going to meet with the developer, if you're going to have your solicitor involved, you better have the public involved, or you're going to be finding bad faith once again. I encourage you to vote yes on the appeal, and if in fact you appeal, we will then make a decision whether or not we'll intervene. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion on the motion?
Mr. Kong, the last part of your statement, I didn't quite hear what you said. You said to vote?
Vote yes to appeal.
Right.
And then we'll decide if we want to intervene to add ourselves to your appeal so that
Okay,
you have
all right.
adequate lawyering to
All right,
stuff.
thank you.
All right.
Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor of a motion to authorize the township solicitor to file an appeal on behalf of the township signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion is approved. Next is the K-9 Memorandum of Understanding. I believe there's still some outstanding questions about the verbiage within this, is that correct?
Yeah, I was just tabling it. There's one issue on the comp time, Garcia time, and so they
Got it.
Mr. Chairman, I'll move to the table approving this MOU until our August 2026 Board of Supervisors meeting.
Could I have a motion? Do I have a second? Motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor of a motion to table the K-9 Memorandum of Understanding until August 10th, 2026, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion is approved. Next is new business. The first item is a proposed memorandum of understanding with Logan Park addressing operations, maintenance, and budget administration.
I move to authorize the Recreation Committee Supervisors Covert and Loudslager to proceed with the process to present the proposed memorandum of understanding to Logan Park Board for their review and recommendations.
I have a motion. Do I have a second? Motion and a second. Is there any discussion on the motion?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to.
I just wanted to say thank you for putting that together. It was, and I know it's personal, but I've been busy at work and I just can't. But I appreciate it.
No, I'm just glad to do it. I'd like to amend the motion, Supervisor Lundsager, to say after it's Logan Park Board in conjunction with Dillsburg Borough for their review and acceptance, because it is one agreement for both municipalities with the Logan. If you're agreeing with that.
All right, I move to authorize the Recreation Committee's supervisors, Covert and Loudslager, to proceed with the process to present the proposed memorandum of understanding to the Logan Park Board in conjunction with Dillsburg Borough for their review and recommendations.
I have a motion. Do I have a second? Second. Motion and a second. Any further discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor of a motion to authorize the Recreation Committee Supervisors Covert and Loudslager to proceed with the process to present the proposed memorandum of understanding to the Logan Park Board in conjunction with Dillsburg Borough for their review and recommendations signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion is approved. Next is proposed amendments to the Code of Carroll Township.
I move to authorize the township staff to forward the proposed amendments to Carroll Code of Township to York County Planning Commission for their review and comment.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor of a motion to authorize township staff to forward the proposed amendments to the Code of Carroll Township to York County Planning Commission for their review and comments signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion is approved. Next on the agenda is Ms. Rosalie Calvo's escrow transfer for 103 Warrington Road. This is for a small flow sewage disposal system.
Yeah. I move to authorize the township staff to change the name on the Rosalie Calvo escrow fund to Jeremy and Heather Lane escrow fund for the small flow sewage disposal system that's located at 103 Warrington Road.
Can I have a motion or a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor of a motion to authorize township staff to change the name on the Rosalie Calvo escrow fund to Jeremy and Heather Lane escrow fund for the small flow sewage disposal system located at 103 Warrington Road, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion is approved. Next is money management and investing of township funds.
Mr. Chairman, based on our conversation and update provided at the workshop session, I move to authorize the township secretary and township manager acting jointly to invest the general, capital, and recreation funds into U.S. Treasury bonds using Charles Schwab Corporation, authorizing the township secretary and township manager acting jointly to reinvest mature Treasury bonds back into Treasury bonds with the highest yield and with maturity date best suited for the township's predicted needs for the funds, and to transfer earned interest into the general fund bank accounts for operational and budgetary purposes. The fund amounts to be moved to Treasury bonds are $880,000 from Mid-Penn Bank Recreation Fund, $1.2 million from Mid-Penn Bank Capital Reserve Fund, $740,000 from Mid-Penn Bank General Fund, and $1.75 million from Members First General Fund.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor of a motion to authorize the township secretary and township manager acting jointly to invest the general capital and recreation funds into U.S. Treasury bonds using Charles Schwab Corporation, authorizing the township secretary and township manager acting jointly to reinvest mature Treasury bonds back into Treasury bonds with the highest yield and with a maturity date best suited for the township's predicted need for the funds, and to transfer earned interest into the general fund bank accounts for operational and budgetary purposes. The fund amounts to be moved to Treasury bonds are $880,000 from the Mid-Penn Bank Recreation Fund, $1.2 million from the Mid-Penn Bank Capital Reserve Fund, $740,000 from the Mid-Penn General Fund, and $1.75 million from Members First General Fund. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, the motion is approved, rather lengthy motion is approved. All right, next is the township solicitor appointment.
Mr. Chairman, I will move to remove John Baranski Jr. of MPL Law Firm from his appointment as Carroll Township Solicitor, keeping Mr. Baranski retained until July 31st, 2026, to transition Township's legal affairs with a new Township Solicitor.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second, is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor of a motion to remove John Baranski Jr. of MPL Law Firm from his appointment as Carroll Township Solicitor, keeping Mr. Baranski retained until July 31st, 2026, to transition the Township's legal affairs to and with a new Township Solicitor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The motion is approved.
And with that said, Mr. Chairman, I will move to appoint David Jones from Saxton and Stump Lawyers and Consultants as Carroll Township Solicitor, effective Tuesday, July 14th, 2026, through the balance of 2026 on the attached fee schedule for his services.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor of a motion to appoint David Jones from Saxon and Stump Lawyers and Consultants as Carroll Township Solicitor, effective Tuesday, July 14th, 2026, through the balance of 2026 on the attached fee schedule for his services, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion is approved. Mr. Baranski, thank you for your service to this township. I know that we're not an easy bunch to deal with. I've appreciated your counsel and your assistance.
Thanks.
Thank you, John. Next is resolution number 2026-21.
Okay, based on those moves, I have moved to adopt resolution number 2026-21, a resolution of the Board of Supervisors of Carroll Township, York County, Pennsylvania, to amend the schedule of fees for the calendar year 2026 to add Saxon and Stump Lawyers and Consultants 2026 fee schedule.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor of a motion to adopt resolution number 2026-21 signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The motion is approved. Are there any additional items to be discussed this evening? Okay, come on.
Can I ask a question?
Yep, just come up to the podium if you would.
Elizabeth Swivel, Park Avenue, Dillsburg. I just have a question on appealing the hearing for Stony Run. What happens now? Does work stop because there's going to be appeal filed? Do they continue to work? I was just wondering.
If the appeal's filed and they proceed, they do so at their own risk. If it's overturned later on, anything they do will have to be taken down.
Okay.
Any other additional items to be discussed this evening? Seeing none, any committee reports this evening?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, Dillsburg Area Authority, I did attend the June 16th meeting. There was a very long discussion, and they were kind enough to take questions, not just public comment. It was a public comment session, but allowed a conversation regarding the Dillsburg Area Authority's preparation for data centers. It was quite intuitive. I think the residents got some good information out of it, and I appreciate it, and I thank their solicitor as well as their chairman for taking the time. I did speak up at that meeting regarding them.
Great.
There were several project planning and agreements that were passed for Chestnut Grove, Regis Estates, and Orbank Village. And there was also a discussion that was related to the data center questions. But since we are officially in a drought, it did come up that their well number 5, which is their drought-sensitive well, had all indications that it's good. There's no indications that it is drying up, even though we are in that official drought.
Great.
Okay. The next is the Capital Region COG. There was no CAP-COG meeting for the month of June that was scheduled, so it's scheduled for July, coming up the end of this month. York County Tax Bureau, the update, they gave us the report, and I think, Brandon, do you get that report? The was it Act 97 or something like that? Okay, so the Bureau had collected $167,000 in taxes in the month of June for Carroll Township, and they just dispersed to the township $160,000 of that in the month of June. Carroll Township Comprehensive Plan, really is no update yet on that committee. And the Local Government Advisory Council Committee along, we did have our monthly meeting here this morning. Get this out here quick. There was a presentation by Carol Yoso on the Susquehanna National Heritage Area Partnership Program that started off the meeting. There were 5 different amendments to ordinances. First one was Paradise Township was doing their data center ordinance, and that was not adopted for changes to be made. The West Manchester Township had an R6 residential to I2 light industrial was not adopted. Lower Chanceburg Township had a data center ordinance. It was not adopted. Several areas that they did not have defined that they should needed to. East Manchester Township zoning ordinance for low density residential to apartment, office, and industrial was not adopted. And the one that did get adopted was Wintertown Borough Saldo Amendment on driveways. That was it.
Okay. Any other committee reports this evening? Seeing none, July 23rd, the Planning Commission will meet at 6:30. There will be no zoning hearing board hearing this month, and we will be back here for our work session August 3rd at 6:30. I will now entertain a motion to adjourn.
I will make a motion to adjourn.
I have a motion. Do I have a second? Motion and a very quiet second. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor of a motion to adjourn the meeting signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Have a good night.
I think it's